Greetings, friend. I will show you the 3 amazing strategies you need to know when solving hard Sudoku. The last one's the hardest to spot. Also, stay tuned for a fun fact about our Friday featured setter Piatato later in the video. Click below if you want to give it a go. With that, it's solving time. Okay, I just love the way this puzzle looks. You know, it looks kind of like a peach with the little stem up here, and this is the round part of the peach. What I also like is that if you look right here, there's a nice little naked single, right? This cell right here can't be a 1, 2, 3. Can't be a 4, can't be a 6, 7, 8, or a 9. This has to be a 5. And finding that nice little 5 with this 5 means you can solve for a 5 right here in block 8. And this is going to be a helpful way to get started in this puzzle. After you do that, you actually want to look up column 5 here and go, where can a 4 be, right? Can't be here because of this 4, can't be here because of this 4, and it can't be here because of this 4. So you can actually solve for 4 up here in block 2. And this is going to help us make some progress and get us towards that first amazing strategy. All right, we have these 4s in 1 and 3, rows 1 and 3. We got this 4 in column 2, so one place left for 4 here in block 1 is right there. And then you might also notice that there's only 2 places for a 4 here in block 5. I will mark that. I might need that a little bit later. This is called Snyder notation. Anytime in 3x3 block, you only have 2 spots for your candidate. Mark it. And when you're done, you can mark the other cell. In case you solve one of these, you can always go back and solve the other one for that candidate. Very helpful here. I won't do all the Snyder marking because I want to get you right to the strategies you need to know. After doing this 4, next thing you want to look at is the 6s. Okay, so let's look. Where can a 6 be over here in block 6? You can't be any more 6s across row 4. And you got the 6 coming down column 8, 9, and column 8 means this has to be a 6 right there. So after we solve that 6, now we can kind of shift our focus to another candidate that we have quite a few of, these 8s, right? We got 8s in rows 4 and 5. We got 8s in columns 4 and 5. Whenever you have 4 different of a candidate pointed into a block, you know you can solve the remaining unseen cell for that candidate. It has to work out that way. So we can solve that 4 and 8, and that's going to help us out. And next thing I want to look for is you go over here in block 1. We got now, after we put that 4 in, you got the 2 coming up. Column 2, there's 2 cutting across, and because that's a 4, there's only one place left for a 2. So we can mark that for a 2. And 2s are going to be really important in this puzzle, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And if you cut across here, there's actually a nice little naked single now that we can solve. You know, when you want to find for a naked single, kind of look for a house, which is a row, column, or block where you have a lot of candidates filled in, right? We have 4 across here, but we also have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 in column 5. So what's the remaining candidates there in column 5? It looks like we need a 2, 3, and a 7. This can't be a 3. This could still be a 2, 3, 7. If you look right here, you'll notice you have a 7 and a 2, which means we can solve that for a 3. And then we can create this nice 2, 7 naked pair here in column 5. We will need that. You will see why in just a second. Okay, this brings us up to our first advanced strategy. Once you put this 3 in, you're going to get a little stuck until you start noticing a neat strategy here involving the 9s. And what I always say is once you cannot find any more of these hidden naked singles pairs, the normal 7 strategies that I talk about quite a bit, then you want to look for single candidate strategies. If we go through, let's look at where the 9s could be in this puzzle, right? They could be here in all these spots that I'm about to mark, because I love how Piatato put this in the puzzle. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful strategy, and you're going to love the way it looks here. All right. If we now highlight those in blue, hopefully you can see the strategy that I am talking about. It's actually in 2 different locations. We're going to use both of those to make the solves that we need to solve. All right, if you don't see it, the strategy we're talking about is an X-Wing, okay? An X-Wing. Well, so let's look at the first X-Wing involved in the columns here. So in column 2 and 8, whenever you have the same candidate in 2 columns linked to the same 2 rows, that is an X-Wing. What it means is a 9 is either here and here or here and here. You can't put a 9 in any of these other spots in row 9, because if you do, you'll break the puzzle. For example, if I put a 9 right there, you'd eliminate the 9s from those cells, and then you'd only have these 2 spots to put a 9 in both column 2 and column 8. That wouldn't work. That breaks the puzzle. So we want to get back here and go, nope, can't put a 9 there. So we can eliminate 9 from all these other blue cells along row 9. There's not any across row 4 that where a 9 could be, so we eliminate those cells. That's important, but we're not done. Okay, we're not done here because you can find, and hopefully maybe you saw the other X-Wing. And you're like, okay, Timberlake, where's this other X-Wing you're talking about? Well, it involves rows 6 and 7. This is also an X-Wing here. Okay, and just like it worked with the columns, it also works with the rows. X-Wings are symmetrical in that way. And what this means is, you know, in rows 6 and 7, the 9s are limited to the same two columns, columns 1 and 9. So the 9s are there and there, or there and there. So now we can eliminate the 9s from these two cells. This is huge. This is beautiful. I love the way that Piatato put this in the puzzle. And before I show you why these eliminations are so important, I do want to tell you my fun fact about Piatato. So I asked Piatato, where do you get the inspiration for your puzzles? And he said it's usually from other puzzles that he solves, but also sometimes he just finds a technique and he wants to solve and make a puzzle around that technique. And I love that. This is fascinating stuff. Definitely wanted to do something with X-Wings here, apparently. The other question I asked, and I'll share with you a bonus fact, I asked him how long it takes for you to set. I'm always fascinated by this particular question because I hear so many different answers. And what he says is that one time he set a puzzle in 2 minutes. I cannot believe that you can set a Sudoku in 2 minutes. That's crazy amazing. But he also says some have taken him several days. If it's a very easy puzzle, it's pretty quick for him to set. But the puzzles where he wants to show a specific idea usually takes longer because I'm sure he's trying to drill down to get that idea just right. So I love hearing about Piatato. And if you want to receive exclusive puzzle packs from setters like Piatato, in fact, I got one going this month by Skiddix, click on the pinned comment below to join a Smarty Party. These are never before released. They're put into a themed puzzle pack. You will love them. All right, what can we do with eliminating all of these 9s? Well, first you want to look right here. We're going to focus here in block 9. Okay, we got a 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 4, 8, 9. I want to keep the colors up to make sure that I get the proper eliminations. We know this can't be a 4. We know that these can't be 1s because the 1's already in the column. And now we know that these can't be 9s, right? The 9s can be in these two spots and these two spots. So I'll get those colors back just so I don't eliminate the wrong 9s. But that's not going to be a 9. That cannot be a 9 because of the 9 already up here, nor can it be an 8. Okay, anything else we can eliminate? Yeah, we got this 8 here, so that can't be an 8. That's a 2, 9. And then this can't be a 2. And the other thing you want to see, and I haven't shown it yet, but look across where this 2 goes, all right? The 2s are limited to one of these 3 spots right there. In fact, we can go one step further with this. I want to show you this. You got a 2, 3, 6, 7, and a 9. And I promise I'll get back to block 9. But what you notice is you can't have a 2 there. You can't have a 7 there. And so you go, okay, maybe it's 3, 6, 9. But if you go here, remember we eliminated all the 9s from this row. And we eliminated all the 3s. Which means there's only a 2, 6, 7 remaining here. This is a naked triple. In fact, we can go down and go, that's got to be a 2, 6. This has got to be a 2, 7. And this has to be your 6, 7. Okay, since we have a naked triple right here, 2, 6, and 7 can't be anywhere else along row 9. And so that means this cell cannot be a 2 anymore, and neither can this cell be a 2. This is beautiful stuff because what it creates is now this 4, 8 naked pair, and it's a lock candidate. So now we can eliminate the 4, 8 from right here because now the 4 and 8 can't be anywhere else in the block, and it can't be anywhere else up column 9. Okay, that's really important to know. All right, I wanted to make all those marks. They will need to keep advantage. The other cell I actually need to mark is actually this cell right here, right? And I'll show you why in just a second. So 1, 5, 6, it looks like a 1, 4, 5, 6, 8. So this could be a 2, 3, or a 7, it looks like. Okay, but this cell also can't contain a 9, also can't contain a 3, and we'll get back to those. Let me get rid of all these nice marks, and we'll get back to the solving. Okay, we clean this up. With this 4, 8 naked pair, what does that mean for this column? Let's look right here at this cell. What can this cell be now? Well, it can't be a 1, it can't be a 2, can't be a 3, can't be a 4, could be a 5, but it can't be a 6 or a 7, and now it can't be an 8 because the 8's got to be in this naked pair, right? and it can't be a 9. We can solve this cell now for a 5. You do want to be able to solve that cell for 5. This is beautiful because this is leading us up to our next advanced strategy. And we got to do one more intermediate step before we get there. And this is kind of cool because you may not spot this one, but you do need it in order to keep solving. First, let's look at where the restrictions are in column 7. All right, we know I have 3 candidates missing. We're missing a 1, 2, and a 7. So this has to be a 2, 7, and this has to be a 1, 2, 7. Okay, no big deal until you come back over here in row 4 in column 3. You might notice there's only 4 candidates here, 3, 4, 5, and a 9. But there's also this 8, 6, and 1 that look in here. So this is only restricted to 2 candidates, right? It can only be a 2, 7. This is huge because what does that mean? It means now this is a naked pair 2, 7. Hopefully you see that. And you do need to see that to get to the next advanced strategy, which we're about to get to right now. So the next advanced strategy, you want to compare that there's a 2, 7 here up with row 2. Where can a 7 be in row 2? Well, it can't be here because of this 7. You can have a 7 there. It can't be in these 2 spots because of this 7. And you can have a 7 right there, right? What does that mean? These 4 cells form our second advanced strategy. The amazing strategy you need to know. You'll see these pop up time and time again in hard Sudoku puzzles. And this strategy is a skyscraper. All right. And I'm going to do a little bit of coloring magic here. Make those yellow. So skyscraper. Anytime you have a candidate restricted to 2 places in 2 rows and it shares a column, and then the other tips are in different columns of the same 3 by 3 band, also known as a tower, this is a skyscraper. And what it means is we will know that one of these yellow cells has to contain a 7. So either this cell's a 7 or it's not, right? So if it's a 7, that's great. Anything that sees it can't be a 7. If it's not a 7, this cell would have to be a 7. This can't be a 7 because the skyscraper and how it works, this cell will then have to be a 7. So that's why we can say any cell that sees both these yellows cannot contain a 7. What does that mean? It means we can eliminate 7s from these cells, these 2 cells and this cell. And you're like, okay, Timberland, that's not a big deal. What else are we saying? Since these 2 cells cannot contain a 7, where can a 7 be here in block 4? It can be here, 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 right? So in columns 1 or 3. And here in block 7, because there's 2, 6, 7, this can't be a 7. So, and this can't be 7. So the 7s are limited to one of these 2 spots. All right. Since the 7s are limited to columns 1 and column 3 in both block 7 and in block 4, that means the 7s are limited to the column 2 up here in block 1. And because of the skyscraper, this is how we're figured out. 7 cannot be there anymore, right? So these 2 cells have to be a 7. This is a claiming pair. This is what the skyscraper gives you. It gives you a claiming pair up here. And this is going to be really helpful for us as we move along with this solve. Knowing that this is no longer a 7 is going to help us out quite a bit. If you're just not familiar with how X-Wings and skyscrapers work, I actually did a tutorial where I cover both of these strategies. I'll put a link to it right here. You want to check that out. And while you're at, subscribe to Smart Hobbies and you will solve these amazing strategies even better. Okay, after doing that, we have to now focus on column 3, right? This can no longer be a 7. So what can this cell be? Looks like it could be a 1. It can't be a 2, 3, or 4, or a 5. It could be a 6. Can't be a 7. It could be an 8. Okay, no big deal. But what can this cell be? It looks like this could be a 1 or a 2. Can't be a 3, 4, 5, 6. Could be a 7, but it can't be an 8 or a 9. And if you look at this cell right here, this cell could be, looks like a 1, 2, or a 7 because you have the 9 right there. And so that's a 1, actually a 1 or a 7 because we already have the 2 right here. Okay, so this is a nice naked triple. So let's get rid of these colors because I want to show you why and what we just did. We found another intermediate step that's going to be huge to solving this nice Sudoku puzzle. So 2, 1, 7. They're limited to these 3 cells, so you have a naked triple. Means that 1 can no longer be up there. We actually just created a nice naked pair of 6, 8. This is great. This is great stuff. And I just noticed I didn't even finish all the wonderful thing about using these three cells here. Because there's a 2, 6, 7, the 6s can no longer be there. That's actually a 3, 9 naked pair. All right. And let's clean up here. We got 2, 6, 7 here. We got the 3 and the 5. That means 1, 4, 8, 9. So this would be 1, 8, 9. This can no longer be a 9 because of our X-Wing. So that's going to be a 1 or a 4. We already have the 8 right there. Great. I wanted to show you that naked triple to show that we can eliminate a 1 from right there. That will come in handy here in just a second. Okay, we got the 2, 7 naked pair across row 4. That helps out quite a bit. Now let's focus over here in block 6, okay? Because this is where we're going to make our next solve and set up that last, most critical, hardest to find advanced strategy that we really need to know before we can solve the rest of this puzzle. So what can be in here? We got a 1, 5, 6, 8. We're missing a 2, 3, 4, 7, and a 9. Now, because of the X-Wing, this is not a 9. That's critical to remember. Because of the 3s, that can't be a 3. All right, and because of the 7 right here, that can't be a 7. That can't be a 7. This can't be a 9. And then you look up here, because of the 2, 7 naked pair, this can't be a 2. Okay, so what do we notice here? Because of this 4, 8, this cell can no longer be in 4 either. So what we have is another nice naked pair. Okay, I want to highlight that in blue. And so since the 2 and the 7 are right there in naked pair within the block, this cannot be a 2. This has to be your 4. All right, we need to know that that's a 4 to set the next strategy. You got to do these intermediate steps. I love how Piatato works from the advanced to the nice little setups to get back to the other advanced strategies. So we're really close to the third strategy. Once you put the 4 right here, now you want to look down column 8 and go, where can a 2 be? All right, it can't be here anymore. Can't be here. Can't be here because of this 2, and it can't be here because of this 2. So there's only one place left for a 2 in column 8. It has to be right there. So we're able to solve that for a 2. And this means we can eliminate 2 from this cell, and this is the key. This is that advanced strategy you've been waiting for, and we are set up for it. We have enough information to show you how it works. We are looking for a W-Wing. Okay, a W-Wing. What do we need for a W-Wing to work? Well, first we need 2 bi-value cells that are the same. So we got a 1, 7 right here. Is there another 1, 7 that I've marked in this puzzle? I sure have, right there. Okay. Those are the ends. Now what we need is one of these candidates has got to be able to connect these 2 cells through a conjugate pair. So conjugate pair means that there's only 2 of a candidate in a house. So you look right here with this 2, 7 naked pair, we know 7 is only in 2 spots in row 4. So that's a conjugate pair. And this 7 sees the beginning up here, and this 7 sees the end cell down here. This is a W-Wing. This is how it works. And what it means is either this is a 1. If it's not a 1, it'd be a 7. And so I can kind of show you that this would be a 7. That can't be a 7. This would have to be a 7, and then this cell would be a 1. So either the 1's right there to start with, but if it's a 7, then this is a 1. Hopefully you see how that works. And that's how the W-Wing works. What it means is that one of these purple cells has to be a 7. We can eliminate a 7 from any cell that sees both the purple cells. So we can eliminate a 7 from this cell right here. Beautiful stuff, Piatato. I've loved this. I feature these strategies, and this is just a great puzzle that features all these amazing strategies. If you're just not familiar with how W-Wings work, I'll put you to my difference between W-Wing and W-X-Y-Z tutorial, because I get right to the heart of W-Wings in that one. I'll put a link to it here. Check it out, and you will solve W-Wings even better. Okay, once we know that that's a 2, we can start doing some solving that's going to get a little bit easier for us. So once this is a 2, we can finish up this column. So that's 7 and a 1. And now we're going to take advantage of remembering where the X-Wings are, right? So remember, we had X-Wing there and there. So this is now a 9 because it can't be a 2. So we know that can actually be a 9. Okay, and then this is going to be a 1, 7 to finish row 7. And the other thing we can keep in mind is we knew that one of these two cells, right? These cells are 9. Since the 9's right here, this can't be a 9 anymore. This has to be your 9. And then that has to be your 9. See how that works? Awesome. And now we got the 7 here, so this is a 2, and that's 3. Great. And since we got this 9 right here, this is a 1. That's a 4. And now we can do the 8 and the 4 right there. All right. And then what we have left here is a 6 and an 8 because of this 3 and a 9. Well, I see an 8 right here. So this is your 6, and that's your 8. So we got the 8 there. We know that that's now got to be a 6. So I really try to solve as many of these filled in cells as I can to kind of declutter the grid. Once we get this 4 here, that has to be a 4. So we're going to remove that. Awesome. And then you'll notice you got a full house here in column 9. Okay, so what do we need to finish column 9? It looks like we need a 7. Great. And then we're looking for 3 and an 8. I got my 3 right here, so here's your 3 and here's your 8. Awesome. And then with these two 8s and this 8, we can solve for an 8 here. Just place that Snyder mark and solve for a 7 right there. And now what do we miss? It looks like a 1 and a 5. I got my 5 right here. So here's your 1 and here's your 5. You see how all these solves have kind of fallen into place for us? This is awesome. I love it. Another full house. Always want to go to those when I can. Means that has to be a 6, which means now we can solve this naked triple down here. The 7, the 2, and the 6. Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I am, because this is the important part. You don't want to mess this up. You want to make sure that you're solving each of these cells correctly, or you're going to think you made a mistake. But we are looking good right here. This has to be a 1 because there's no other place for a 1 in block 2. And then we're looking for a 5 and a 9. I actually can't do the 5 and the 9 just yet. That's crazy. But what I can do is, since I solved this 2, I know I can solve that for a 7. Get rid of the 7 right there. And then let's look here. This has to be a 1 or a 2. I got my 1, so here's your 2, and there's your 1. All right, here's your 7, here's your 1 right here. Nice. And now this has to be a 2. And let's look here. We got another full house in column 1, so I can solve that for, looks like a 7. And look here in the block, what I'm missing, look, a 5 and a 6. I got my 6 right here. So here's your 6, here's your 5, and now we have a full house over here, so we're looking for a 3. We can disambiguate the 9 and the 3 down here in block 8. Beautiful stuff. And now with this 9 and this 9 means this has to be a 9, that has to be your 5. We come back down here and solve this for 5 and this for a 1. You need to watch this other video if you want to understand and solve these amazing strategies even better. Thank you so much, Piatato, for being my Friday featured setter. This was a joy to solve, and thank you so much for watching.